Hi everyone. Imagine this. You're at crossroads and you have two paths. One path is screaming, take that quickly, chase on. And the other one whispers, stick to what you know, be safe. Your mind is a battlefield. Fear versus freedom. Logic versus longing. Here's the paradox. Both are you, both are true. Both are tearing you apart. Which voice would you listen to? My name is Mayur and I'm an engineer turned actor and I live this paradox every day. Of being an engineer by trade and an actor by soul. Of coding in silence and performing chaos on screen. So today I'm here to talk about paradox of thoughts. So by definition, paradox of thoughts is the tension that arises because of the conflicting thoughts that live in all of us. And I'm here to talk about the contradictions. I'm here to talk about how these contradictions actually don't confuse us, but they actually fear us, they define us, and if you let them, they'll set us free too. So, paradox of thoughts for me personally is about that engineer who dreamed to be on screen, an introvert who craved to be on spotlight, and an actor who feared every line before saying it but delivered it anyway. So yeah. So let me share my experiences, my thoughts through my journey, episode by episode, because web series are an in thing, right? So, episode 1, school days. Whole of my schooling was a paradox. So basically, I was born into a typical middle class family where my father and my mother both were working parents with a meagerly earning clerical jobs, salaries, and my father wished to put me in a big school, best school. So he put me in one of the richest schools, and obviously I got it via lottery. And as I said, the whole schooling was a paradox because I was this simple middle class guy, and the rest of the school would come in fancy cars, fancy lunch boxes, fancy water bottles, and everything fancy. So all the schooling, the paradox of thoughts were, will I always be a level below all my peers? And the other thought running was, no, I want this equality. I want to be equal to all of them. I'll get there and I'll do whatever it takes to do. And cut to 10 years, not disregarding any of these paradox, I got a state rank in the engineering entrance examination. So I got into a good college, and yeah, so that was the end of the school days episode. Not disregarding any of the paradox of thoughts, and yet I reached there. So that was half settlement of life done, and then the next chapter was homecoming. So basically, yeah, I succumbed to peer pressure, and I went to US for my masters. I completed my post-graduation with a good GPA. But one thought was popping in my mind. Do I really fit here? Something is amiss here. And so once I finished, my post-graduation, a scene kept flashing in my mind. It's from a movie called Nonak Nachar. And so there's a scene where the hero is asked, why do you want to stay in the town? Why don't you settle like your friends, abroad, like US, UK, Australia? So the hero, Venkatesh Garu, says, well, yeah, I could settle there, but if I go there, the max I could do is call my aging father and say, have you taken medicines or not? But if I'm here, I would take the medicines myself and a glass of water. That would make a lot of difference, I thought. So yeah, the paradox of thoughts then were, I want to go back where the home is where the heart is. Slightly tweaked phrase. And the other thought was, am I a fool to leave the country of dreams? Cut to, I left the country of dreams and I came back for good and joined a great product company. And much to the surprise of life, few years later, I had given the medicines myself to my father, from my ailing father who passed away with cancer a few years later. So that was a beautiful decision I made. So thanks to the paradox of thoughts, and cut to the next episode, which is a turning point in my life. That's a turning point episode. That is C for coding and C for cinema. So yeah, I came back. I joined a good product company, and I was climbing the corporate ladder very well. And so by day, I was a software engineer, writing code, debugging lines of code, and chasing the deadlines. And it was a predictable, safe, steady job. But by evening, I was another person. I was an aspiring actor, rehearsing from a theatre place. Again, two voices, two lives, paradox. So one said, it's a great job. Why do you want to risk it? And the other said, come on, you're meant for more. Go act, go create. So again, two voices. So the second voice, I tried to pay a deaf ear to it for a very long time, but the thoughts do nag, they clash. And one fine day, I got my break through a film called Cinema Bandi. So that was a viral movie during 2021, and it was a very big hit. And my role, Maradish Babu, became a sensation of sorts. Yeah, with the famous dialogue, "Nee Pere Mein." Yeah, so that gave me the biggest break, and yet I was not ready to give up on my job because that was my roti kapda makan. Fine. So that's still the safety versus passion battle still continued, and I kept doing my job. So just that I was working in an AC, not in a cubicle, but in a caravan. So 3 years passed by, and the next big thing happened. The coolest project of my life, Kida Kola. So I was directed by national award-winning Tarun Bhaskar, and I got the coolest role of my life. And so that gave me the biggest validation. And then the thought peeped up again. Finally, the paradox of thought really became very wild. So it's like, now do you really want to quit the job? You are feeling alive here. So why don't you quit the job? Was one thought. And the other thought was, hello, your dad doesn't have any plots on the ORR. So are you sure? But I resigned my job. So that was a big interval twist in my life. And then another film happened called Veeranjanayala Vihara Yatra, where I acted with iconic actors, and I ended up getting a nomination for breakthrough performance amidst all the Bollywood actors. So that was one another big validation. So end of this episode, and the next episode is leveling up. So okay, fine, we have come so far, and what about the next step? I needed to go to the next level, and by God's grace, a mobile production approached me for a solo lead role for an iconic series, and I was experiencing all the emojis: excitement, happy, nervous, anxious, because that was my biggest opportunity. Because being a hero in a pan-Indian series is not a small thing for a person like me who has come from nowhere. So that was the biggest opportunity. And the paradox of thoughts again were, do I really will they really like me? I don't have a six-pack. Will the big heads in Mumbai really approve me? And on the other side was, you have resigned your job, so you have to get this. And I cracked the audition, and once the series released, it was one of the biggest hits. It was one of the highly successful Telugu web series ever. And it was at number 2 for more than a month. And that gave me the biggest validation. But there was still something missing. So I still didn't feel leveled up by 5%. Then, thanks to Sivarapalli's success, so there was an awards night
where they would give awards to all the restaurants, of the year, for the best restaurants of the year. I was called to present awards, and I gave it to one of my schoolmates who had carried these fancy lunch boxes. So that was a nice round up for me, and then I felt, oh, okay, level down.
So yeah, that was my journey, and I would like to talk about the reflections I had in the journey and when I look back. So each role was a paradox. I was terrified, yet inspired, unprepared yet ready, and each role I would play, I used to feel, oh, that was such a ridiculous acting, and the other part of me used to say, come on, push it, make it wilder. And one such instance was in Cinema Band itself, where I told the world's worst proposal. ఆవుపాల వంటి స్వచ్ఛమైన నా మనసుని సూదులు లాంటి నీ కంటి చూపుతో జీవించేస్తారు నీ క్రీ పెదాలతో అది మరలా అతికించవా దండలో పువ్వులో నవల గుండెలో గడ్డలో ఉంటారు ఇంటలో నీడల ఆవరా నా వెంటే ఉండవా స్వరం మంచిది. This was the girl's first proposal, and but that became viral, and how that every Feb 14 it's viral on the internet. So yeah, so we have to carry these two paradoxes, and the best performances come from that paradox. And yeah, right here, right now, I feel that paradox, and honestly, one of my part of me says, "Who am I to be here on the TEDx stage?" And the other says, "This is exactly where I belong."
So yeah, so embrace it, and while embracing the clash doesn't mean you have to resolve it. Let the thoughts dance, let the thoughts fight, and you'll automatically see what will happen. And yeah, even science backs it up, because this is called cognitive dissonance, where it is by definition it is a discomfort of holding these conflicting thoughts. So when these thoughts comes, your brain doesn't freeze. It actually looks for new directions, new solutions. So yeah, that's why I think a great artist, though even having a lot of self-doubt, give a memorable performances. So yeah, the closing dialogue. So this is my challenge to you guys. Whenever you have these conflicts, don't run away from the contradictions. Lean on to them. Let the contradictions speak to each other, and then ask yourself, what does this tension teach me? Where does this lead me to? Maybe you will take that big leap, or you might hold back to the best reasons known to you. Maybe you will tell something that you have been holding back for a very long time. But all said and done, you will get a better understanding of yourself. That's for sure. See, this is a paradox I carry. The fear to fail and the fight to succeed. This is what got me here, and this paradox has given me identity. It will give it to you too. That's my time, guys.